What's up, everybody? Brothers, sisters, psychonauts, and seekers of truth. It is Ananka, and welcome to my bazaar. Today, I'm going to be reading the African folktale, How Spider Obtained the Sky God's Stories. This version comes from the Pantheon book of favorite folktales from around the world. With all that being said, let our story begin. Kwaku Anansi, the spider, once went to Nyan Konpon, the sky god, in order to buy the sky god's stories. The sky god said, "What makes you think you can buy them?" The spider answered and said, "I know I shall be able." Thereupon the sky god said, "Great and powerful towns like Kokofu, Bekwai, Asumengya have come, but they were unable to purchase them. And yet you who are here, but a mere masterless man, you say you will be able?" The spider said, "What is the price of the stories?" The sky god said, "They cannot be bought for anything except Onini the python, Osibo the leopard, Umoatia the fairy, and Umoboro the hornet." The spider said, "I will bring some of all these things, and, what is more, I'll add my old mother, Nisia, the sixth child, to the loot." The sky god said, "Go and bring them then." The spider came back and told his mother all about it, saying, "I wish to buy the stories of the sky god, and the sky god says I must bring Onini the python, Osibo the leopard, Moatia the fairy, and Umoboro the hornet. I said I would add you to the lot and give you to the sky god." Now the spider consulted his wife, Aso, saying, "What is to be done that we may get Onini the python?" Aso said to him, "You go off and cut a branch of a palm tree, and cut some string creeper as well, and bring them." And the spider came back with them, and Aso said, "Take them to the stream." So Anansi took them, and, as he was going along, he said, "It's longer than he is. It's not so long as he. You lie. It's longer than he." The spider said, "There he is lying yonder." The python, who had overheard this imaginary conversation, then asked, "What's this all about?" To which the spider replied, "Is it not my wife, Aso, who is arguing with me that this palm branch is longer than you, and I say she is a liar?" And Onini the python said, "Bring it, and come and measure me." Anansi took the palm branch and laid it along the python's body. Then he said, "Stretch yourself out." And the python stretched himself out. And Anansi took the rope creeper and wound it, and the sound of the tying was Nuinini, 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 until he came to the head. Anansi, the spider, said, "Fool, I shall take you to the sky god, and receive the sky god's tales in exchange." So Anansi took him off to Niame, the sky god. The sky god then said, "My hand has touched it. There remains what still remains." The spider returned and came and told his wife what had happened, saying, there remain the hornets. His wife said, "Look for a gourd, and fill it with water, and go off with it." The spider went along through the bush, when he saw a swarm of hornets hanging there, and he poured out some of the water and sprinkled it on them. He then poured the remainder upon himself, and cut a leaf of plantain, and covered his head with it. And now he addressed the hornets, saying, "As the rain has come, had you not better come and enter this, my gourd, so that the rain will not beat you? Don't you see that I have taken a plantain leaf to cover myself?" Then the hornets said, "We thank you, Aku, we thank you, Aku." All the hornets flew, disappearing into the gourd. Fum! Father Spider covered the mouth and exclaimed, "Fools, I have got you, and I am taking you to receive the tails of the sky god in exchange." And he took the hornets to the sky god. The sky god said, "My hand has touched it. What remains still remains." The spider came back once more and told his wife and said, "There remains Osibo, the leopard." Aso said, "Go and dig a hole." Anansi said, "That's enough. I understand." Then the spider went off to look for the leopard's tracks, and, having found them, he dug a very deep pit, covered it over, and came back home. Very early the next day, when objects began to be visible, the spider said he would go off, and when he went, lo, a leopard was lying in the pit. Anansi said, "Little father's child, little mother's child, I have told you not to get drunk, and now, just as one would expect of you, you have become intoxicated, and that's why you have fallen into the pit. If I were to say I would get you out, next day, if you saw me, or likewise any of my children, you would go and catch me and them." The leopard said, "Oh, I would not do such a thing." Anansi then went and cut 2 sticks, put one here and one here, and said, "Put one of your paws here, and one also of your paws here." And the leopard placed them where he was told. As he was about to climb, Anansi lifted up his knife, and in a flash it descended on his head. Gow was the sound it made. The pit received the leopard, and fum was the sound of the falling. Anansi got a ladder to descend into the pit and go get the leopard out. He got the leopard out and came back with it, exclaiming, "Fool, I am taking you to exchange for the stories of the sky god." He lifted up the leopard to go and give it to Niame, the sky god. The sky god said, "My hands have touched it. What remains still remains." Then the spider came back, carved in Akua's child, a black, flat-faced wooden doll, tapped some sticky fluid from a tree, and plastered the doll's body with it. Then he made ito, pounded yams, and put some in the doll's hand. Again he pounded some more, and placed it in a brass basin. He tied string round the doll's waist, and went with it, and placed it at the foot of the odum tree, the place where the fairies come to play. And a fairy came along. She said, "Akua, may I eat a little of this mash?" Anansi tugged at the string, and the doll nodded her head. The fairy turned to one of the sisters, saying, She says I may eat some. She said, "Eat some then." And she finished eating and thanked her. But when she thanked her, the doll did not answer. And the fairy said to her sister, "When I thank her, she does not reply." The sister of the first fairy said, "Slap her crying place." And she slapped it, pa, and her hand stuck there. She said to her sister, "My hand is stuck there." She said, "Take the one that remains and slap her crying place again." And she took it and slapped her, pa, and this one too stuck fast. And the fairy told her sister, saying, "My 2 hands have stuck fast." She said, "Push it with your stomach." She pushed it, and her stomach stuck to it. And Anansi came and tied her up, and he said, "Fool, I have got you. I shall take you to the sky god in exchange for his stories." And he went off home with her. Now Anansi spoke to his mother, Yarnassia, the 6th child, saying, "Rise up, let us go, for I am taking you along with the fairy to go and give you to the sky god in exchange for his stories." He lifted them up and went off there to where the sky god was. Arrived there, he said, "Sky god, here is a fairy and my old woman whom I spoke about. Here she is, too." Now the sky god called his elders, the Kantire and Arquam chiefs, the Odontin and Gyase, the Ayoko, Unkobeya, and Kyotum. And he put the matter before them, saying, "Very great kings have come, and were not able to buy the sky god's stories. But Kwaku Anansi, the spider, has been able to pay the price. I have received from him Osebo, the leopard. I have received from him Onini, the python. And of his own accord, Anansi has added his mother to the lot. All these things lie here," he said. "Sing his praise." They shouted. The sky god said, "Kwaku Anansi, from today and going on forever, I take my sky god's stories and I present them to you. Kosei, 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 my blessing, blessing, blessing. No more shall we call them the stories of the sky god, but we shall call them spider stories. This, my story, which I have related, if it be sweet or if it be not sweet, take some elsewhere and let some come back to me." All right, everybody. That is the end of our story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Share with us any experiences you've had with the African deities. Check out the other playlists on my channel, and I will see you in the next one, fam. Deuces.